Hey everyone, it's Rita here. So I had a bit of a realization today that this cleanse that I've been doing has had benefits to it that I wasn't aware it could have. Or for me, this is something that I have been experiencing. So I thought I would share it here. There's been a couple of things that I've actually noticed during the cleanse that I've done. So I'm on day 28, I think, of 30. So there's 2 days to go. Can't actually remember what day I'm up to. Anyway, so what I've experienced through this cleanse is initially the first day or two, because I hadn't really prepared well with food and what I was going to be eating and thinking about that, because I really wanted to make a conscious decision to eat a lot better through this. And this time I've done really well. I think I've done a great job compared to some of the other times that I've done this. I've cut out gluten, wheat and gluten, processed foods. I've cut out all dairy, and that includes cheese. I've had one day where I had halloumi. So I made my roast pumpkin with some pine nuts and put a little bit of mayonnaise in there, and I'm having halloumi in it. I tell you what, I felt different that day when I did have that dairy. I just haven't had any dairy. I actually never drank a lot of milk or had a lot of dairy before, unless it was cheese. So for me, it was the cheese in that day I felt really heavy. So one of the things that I've noticed is I have been filling up on a lot less food. So I'm eating better and I'm feeling fuller. And one of the things that I really struggled with before was if I got hungry, I would get the shakes. I get low blood sugar and I just don't feel great. So the first 2 days, that's how I felt. I'm like, how am I going to do this? I've got 30 days of doing this and I just don't think that this is going to go well. Then I started to make some good choices and learned a bit more about food and how I could actually eat better. And I tell you what, I've been feeling amazing and not eating as much food, feeling fuller on less and not having those highs and lows of energy, and also I haven't craved sweet stuff, so occasionally I might go, I need some chocolate. I'm not a big fan of chocolate, but I'd be drawn to it. I just haven't had that through the last 28 days. I have noticed, I don't have scales in my house. Weight for me has never been a big driving factor. I've been really blessed with a body that's often had a great metabolism. The last 12 months, I've just been noticing things are coming in. I'm like, that's not ideal. So for me, what I have noticed is I have started to lose a lot of the extra belly weight that I had, and a little bit around my backside and my legs. It was just not nice. And I only know that because when I put clothes on, and they're not fitting me the same way. They're not as tight as they used to be. That's how I gauge it, how I feel with that. My pants have been just, a lot looser, which is nice. And also my tops haven't had this little extra bit there. So, and as I look in the mirror, I see that hourglass, shape around my hips actually back to what it was beforehand. The other really cool thing that I noticed actually happened when I got my period. Okay, so soz boys, if you're watching this. What I normally get once a month is I get a migraine. I get a hormonal migraine and I get really bloated. So across my belly just feels yuck. I haven't been using any yarrow pom or any of the stuff that I'd been using before the cleanse. I just decided, no, I'm going to not do that. I'm just going to do the cleanse and focus on that particularly. So when I had been using yarrow pom, I was still I got really great change in my my period, but I didn't have a decrease in the migraine. I'd use lots of things and I'd still get this hormonal migraine that would come along. This time, it just hasn't been there. I haven't had bloating. I haven't had cramping. I haven't had anything physical that I could feel that I knew that I had it. Okay, so besides the obvious. And so that for me has been a real big thing, because there is a big link to toxins and chemicals in your life and how they affect your hormones. So for me, this has been a really big example in my life that even though, I'm trying to cut out toxins and things in my life, regularly doing a cleanse is actually really powerful for you, because it will help to clean out a lot of those toxins that can be messing with your hormones. So if you haven't done a cleanse before, I highly recommend you look into doing that and cutting out the foods and the things that actually contribute to a lot of the discomfort that you might be feeling, whether it's in your belly, whether it's all sorts of things. Weight. I was getting these little pimply things along my arm, they're just little bumps. I had those as well. They're gone. So from what I know, previously with people with getting that kind of stuff, it can be related to gluten and or dairy. And so I haven't had any of that, and they've just disappeared. So through this cleanse with the cleaner eating, taking supplements and supporting my detox process in my body, I'm feeling really better. So I'm just not needing to eat as much. My body is functioning really well. I feel better, apart from some days when I might do a lot of stuff. So the last 2 days I've been working, so I did feel emotionally spent, and even physically I was just drained because I was working, and that just tends to take it out of me in a lot of those situations. But apart from that, I've had a lot more energy and just coping really, really well with this. So this is a cleanse that I have done multiple times. I have never done it in the way that I've done it this time, which was really intentionally making changes to how I was eating, being consistent with the food that I was eating, what I was drinking, etc. I probably haven't drunk as much water as I should. I've drunk more, but just I probably could have had more. But I'm noticing a real difference in my body. So hopefully this is something that maybe inspires you to look at how you can increase your health and your wellness by doing things where you're really getting rid of that toxic load in your life. If you're having hormonal issues, please do a cleanse. Do a cleanse and cut out the toxins in your life and give your body a chance to actually get back to thriving. Because if you have toxins in your life, your body can't thrive because it's too busy trying to survive to get those toxins out so it then can thrive. So when we work this way, our body's going to come back to homeostasis and be how it's supposed to. So I've had some really great benefits so far. There's still a couple of days to go. I can't see myself going back to having a whole stack of bread. I used to have a lot of that. That was so cool. I liked my bread. But I'm just not drawn to it anymore. And I've learned how conditioned we are to eat a certain way. We're conditioned because it's either we've learned that as a child, or we've seen that other people do it. And like, I used to have my eggs cooked a certain way on bread. Sometimes I'd have cheese as well, but I'd have to have it a certain way, and I couldn't eat it any other way. I've just been having some scrambled eggs in a bowl with some other things sometimes, or sometimes just scrambled eggs. So I'm changing what my my conditioning is to how I have to eat things. And I've learned a lot along the last few weeks of doing this cleanse, how we can really make big changes and support the well-being of our life. So I really hope that you guys will look into it and see how you can help to maybe just choose one thing that you can cut out of your life that is causing a bit of toxicity into your system, and make those small changes that are going to end up giving you big results. That's what I'm all about, is small changes. For me, this was a big decision to want to do this really well and see the results come through. And I'm really happy with how it's been going. Digestion's been great. My skin's been great. I've had more energy. It's just been really, really good. So I've lost weight as well. That wasn't a huge goal for me because, like I said before, it's not something that has really driven me before and been a real issue. It's something that has built up over the last 12 or 18 months that I realised there was some changes that needed to be made. So hope this helps you. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask. I'd love to chat with you and inspire you, hopefully, to look at how you can make some changes and improve your health and wellness. So I'll speak to you later. Bye.